Hello, everyone, and welcome to Discussing Trek. We are back to talk Lower Decks. Lower Decks is back for their new season, and they dropped 2 episodes on the premiere night. So we have 2 episodes to talk about. And I have here with me to talk about those episodes none other than Larry Irby. How you doing, man?
Hanging in there. How about you?
No complaints, man. No complaints. It's been an interesting week, I'll say. Did you see any of the Star Trek Day festivities?
I did. I did. I'm gonna be honest. We just talked. I was underwhelmed.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, as was I. As was I. There are several mitigating factors. We can talk about the writer strike. They didn't have a true writer, I guess, to write the presentation. And you couldn't really have the actors on because there's also an actor strike going on. So, very good reasons why it wouldn't be as good as it could be. But it seems like they probably filmed this many months ago when they knew the writer strike was coming.
Yeah, I would say just don't even have it because I think Jerry O'Connell, love him, Slider fan, right
Oh,
here,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Sliders,
yeah.
love that
So
guy.
good.
But I was just like, it just bored me. I didn't even watch. I think the end of it.
Oh, man. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I mean, as much crap as we give Will Wheaton, he's a better host.
Mhm.
But they're both kind of fanboys, so
Yeah. I
Um,
love him with some Will Wheaton now. That's my Wesley. I told you Wesley Crush is my boy. I always liked him from day one, and he got all the hate, but that's another video.
we got Wing Grayson, Mr. Jones in the chat. Hello, all. Thank you for being here. So Larry, was there anything missing from the Animation Celebration Star Trek Day presentation that we got on the YouTubes and Paramount Plus? Was there anything that kind of seemed like it was scrubbed from the docket?
Wow, I can't think of anything. Maybe Prodigy.
Yeah, man, that was very sad. You kind of saw it coming because it's been such a systematic removal of all things Prodigy from Paramount Plus and Star Trek .com. I guess it may be a little bit more of it still on Star Trek.com, but man, they have scrubbing it from existence, man, like it didn't even exist. So that was I won't say it was all that shocking, but man, it kind of hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
But I will say I did go to the actual viewing of the Lower Decks viewing that they had, the celebration event, and there was Prodigy at the event. I mentioned this in the video that's on the channel. You guys should go watch. But uh, almost the same sequence of trailer that's cut for the YouTube video. It was almost the same exact thing, except it had Prodigy inserted in there in a little section. And so I was quite happy that it was included there, but still feels kind of weird that it was very prominent and in that presentation for the actual event, but it was not on the YouTube. So I think I'm leaning with what you said offline that maybe something really bad went down that we we just don't know about because it's very systematic and very thorough. They're like, nah, and we're not having any of it.
Yeah, that's insanely odd. I mean, I've seen tons of get stuff in recent years get canceled on streaming, and it still stays on the platform. It doesn't leave. It's just
Yeah.
no longer in production. So, um, it's yeah, something's just not right. But okay.
Yeah. Yes, it's very weird, man. So, if nothing else, is there anything else? Well, let me mention this before we go on. The whole Kid Cudi um, thing that they have going on, the branding, positivity deal that they have with Star Trek, kind of cool
Mhm.
because I like Kid Cudi, but still kind of weird too because I'm like, what?
See, I don't know much about that. I heard like I'll put it this way. I'll be like, what's the name? And Scott Pilgrim. I skimmed it.
mm,
I
mm.
didn't really read the whole thing.
So let's pick up a few comments before we move on real quick. When Grace says, by the 6 Paramount Plus, the exclusive home of all Star Trek. I was more than checked out. Yeah, not so much the exclusive home of all Star Trek anymore. Miss Jones saying, yes, there is another story behind the story. I 100% agree with you guys. Yeah, there has to be something going on. Oh, excuse me. I'm laughing at Win Grace's next comment saying that Kid Cudi greater than Pottery Barn. So that's 1 point for this year. I don't remember the Pottery Barn thing. Am I missing that reference? Help me out here. But guys, we're going to go ahead and get into our review of Star Trek Lower Decks, and we're going to start with the premiere episode, Twovix, which was written by Mike McMahon and directed by Barry J. Kelly and Jason Zurich. The Cerritos ensigns must assist the caretaker. Excuse me, let me start the back. The Cerritos ensigns must assist a caretaker on the voyage of a historically significant starship. And if you have not watched this episode, go out, put us on pause. See, I'm messing it up. I got Kyle Jones in the chat. Put us on pause, go out, watch the episode, and come back, because from this point forward, spoilers. The spoiler warning has been dropped, and we are back to review this episode. No beats this week, but Larry, I want your high-level thoughts on Twovix.
Well, as someone who is a really big fan of Lower Decks, I like it when they take little nostalgia pieces and then they do their own thing. You know, like, oh, this is where he did the thing here, and then they move on.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like this episode. I wanted to. I didn't. I just thought like it was just one of those episodes that it was just you basically did what Next Generation was guilty of for the writers and people for the first 2 seasons of reworking Star Trek, original series episodes. And I was just like, okay, you basically just doing another version of that episode.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather them just riffed on it and make fun of it. Like, the only part I thought was kind of funny for me, Clarence, was like when they said, what did Janeway do? And they said, no, dog, she straight up murdered the dude.
Yeah.
That was funny to me.
Yeah, it was definitely weird how Freeman was so sure, I'll just do what Janeway did. And she was so sure that she could just do that and everything would be all right. But I like that they did recognize that they were not stranded in the Delta Quadrant and just go to headquarters and try to figure this thing out. I do like that they figured that out pretty quick.
That was growth.
Yeah, okay. Well, for me, I don't think my thoughts on this episode are too far off from yours. One of the things that I don't really like about Lower Decks is when you been bombarded with references. And I'm more of I like the episodes more when they kind of do their own thing, throw a reference in here or there. But this episode definitely was like Voyager porn in a bad way. Well, go ahead.
Well, it's just like, okay, the whole thing, like one of my least favorite Voyager episodes. Now, I'm a huge fan of Voyager.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we've ever talked about Voyager a lot, but I love Voyager with a passion. But I'm telling you what, like the microbes, the macros, and then they got assimilated, and I was just like, oh, I have to defend you guys at all times. Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, it was on par with what Lower Decks does to me on a lot of episodes. They didn't really, well, for this part, because we're going to get into the Twovix part, which I felt that was kind of original and a good idea. But let's talk about all of the references, the microcosm thing or macrovirus thing, the having the the hollow characters come out and wreak havoc. To me, it took a lot of the things that I loved about Voyager and just kind of crapped on them. I could really care less about the macrovirus, but taking these holodeck characters and the whole salamander thing, they tried to pull off every thread from Voyager and stuff it in this episode and make funny. I do like the idea of the Voyager getting hauled to this museum. So great messages in there, but ultimately, when you think about like them kind of crapping on all the stuff that happened on Voyager, it kind of made me mad a little bit. If I'm being
Yeah.
honest.
Clarence, I'm gonna tell you that salamander thing need to be made fun of.
True,
That was just terrible,
you are not
Ter-
wrong.
terrible. But I always say, here's the one thing I do with Lower Decks. Number one, I don't say, well, they wouldn't do that. Okay, it's Lower Decks. It's a comedy.
Yeah,
Just deal with it. It's a
yeah.
comedy, and I'm not gonna say, well, that's not how Star. It's a comedy. That is what it is. So I don't apply the watching this show, I don't apply the same thing I do when I'm watching a live action show, because I know there's things, because Lower Decks is goofy. They're
Yeah.
going to do goofy things. If they did it like a regular episode of another show, I mean, what would be the point?
Well, good point, but I'll come back with this statement. I feel the very short tricks, it's so goofy that to me there's never a smidget of realism about the plot. I think for me, Lower Decks has just enough of the good stuff that makes me want to think, oh man, this could be really awesome if we just dig in, but then it goes back to the goofy. So with the very short trick, and we maybe talk about that on a different episode, it just goes so left that you never, if at any moment, think that it's like serious, you
Oh,
know?
and here's the sad thing, Clarence, and I'm this is as far as I'm going to get into it. There are certain people that are embracing that and saying, "See, it's saying that stuff like this is you can't say anything. You can't." That's what. And I was like, "Oh, really? Are you trying to do that? This was a comedy.
Yeah.
It was a purely comedy thing."
And spoilers, but that's kind of why I loved it, because to me it's so left, or so out there, not left, excuse me, that's the wrong term. So out there that I never sunk into, oh, this could be a great Star Trek plot. And so that's kind of where I kind of disconnect a bit on Lower Decks. I'm gonna pick up a few comments real quick. Windgrace is saying that the Pottery Reborn thing is from Star Trek Day 2 years ago, where you can get exclusive collectibles. I did not remember that at all, but cool. Cal is saying, I have beats. Beats are 2Vix, 4Vix, Moopsie. Okay, I can go with that. That's pretty impressive. Cal is also saying, guess what? Loved this episode. Loved seeing Voyager, and that made it good for me. All the repeated references did work on me. Let me add real quick that Voyager was freaking beautiful in animation, man. This 3D quasi
Oh, it
animated
was nice,
rendering.
super nice.
Yeah, and when it dropped out of warp, they had these kind of different colors coming off the ship, almost like a 3D effect. It's just beautiful. Loved it so much. And we have for the first time Marge in the chat. Hi, Marge. I don't know if we've had you in before. Welcome. And Marge is saying hello, and also saying that we are all in on the joke. Yeah, for sure. So, anything else about this episode? Let's get into the part that I liked and I feel was a I wish they would have flushed out more, but I like what they did with it. The whole Tuvix thing. Now, is it realistic that this one petal from the flower that turned Tuvix into Tuvix would come out of this crate and float across the ship to the transporter room? Probably not. But you got to think in the episode where we have Tuvix, the original Twovix, you have Tuvok and you have Neelix, two pretty upright, level-headed people that combined into one, and the result was a very gentle soul in Tuvix, from my opinion. Tana is kind of, she's kind of a little bit snarky and can get in your face sometimes. And Billups is, I don't know about Billups. I don't know if he has much of a personality other than being very goofy on the show, but I can see those two mixing and their outcome being very different than what we got with Tuvok and Neelix. So I have to admit, I did like the concept of those guys coming together and taking over the ship. They weren't going solo for what happened before, as they read the logs and they found out that what Janeway did and they weren't having it anymore. So I kind of dug them trying to create a Twovix army. That was kind of interesting to me, and I really would have liked to see that fleshed out more. What did you think of the Twovix portion of the episode, and what
Yeah,
I'm calling a Twovix army?
yeah, I did, because it's like when you have a joke and it's funny to start with, but then it goes on so long it's not
Yeah,
funny, but
yeah.
then it comes back around, it's funny again. Okay, that didn't happen with me. It started
Mm,
off funny. Oh, they're doing another thing. They're gonna combine two. I like it. I like it. This is funny. And then they kept doing it, and so I was like, okay, this is not funny anymore.
yeah, they did like they often do, and they just kept on with it.
Like I love when they go over the top usually. So that's why I say this just didn't work for me on this one. But
Mm,
you know what? Hey, you can't hit a home run every time.
yeah, and a few of the groupings we had Freeman, which is Captain Freeman, Doctor Miglimo. I just like the outcome of them two mixing. It seemed like a cool character. We had Shaborns, we had Swellens, and I think there was one more I don't have written down. I love that Shax was worried about Tiana because that's his boo thing, and she was mixed up with Billups, and he was just weirded out by the whole thing. I thought that was pretty funny.
I don't know if I'm um I don't know if I'm for this relationship. It sounds
What?
it sounds like Tiana, like Shax and her might have a toxic relationship going on, man.
Yeah, probably so. Probably so. But it seems like they have fun. So hey, to each their
And
own.
you like I said, this is lower decks. Do not think too deeply into this. That's
Yeah, yeah,
it's a joke.
yeah. Um, yeah. So we got the chaotica. We got the clown. I forget which episode. We got Michael Sullivan, Hollow Mitters all over the ship
I
because
liked Chaotica.
yeah, he was cool. He
I
was
like the
cool.
actor who played Chaotica on there.
Was it the real actor that came back? Do we know?
I don't know. It
Mm,
would be cool. I mean, I know. Thank goodness he's still with us. But
mm. Yeah, but I thought that part was, even though it is kind of crapping on a lot of Voyager, I thought it was fine. And it was cool to see Voyager finally at its resting place as a museum. I thought that was pretty cool as well. We got promotions this episode. We got promotions.
I was
That was.
happy about that because I did not want to see us going through a. Speaking of Voyager, you know what I'm going to reference there.
Oh no! Oh
I
no!
don't want to see him
Not
make
Harry Kim.
bunch of Harrys. I mean, I like that. I like that. Like, yeah, let's promote these people. I know they're lower deckers, but let's promote them.
Hey man, we were in the Delta Quadrant. There was limited room for promotion on the ship, so Harry just had to be Harry.
Crazy.
Picking up a few comments here.
This
Go ahead.
But this is why I want to see when we get that show, which we're gonna get Legacy or whatever. I don't know this. I'm totally guessing. But if we get that show, I better get some Captain Harry Kim.
Yes. Now you're a Star Trek Online guy. You see the new content that's coming out for Captain Harry Kim. It may be Mirror Universe. I'm not sure, but I think I saw a promotion that said Captain Harry Kim.
Yeah, well, we've already had
Oh, you've already had. Okay.
Harry
Okay.
on Star Trek Online. In fact, he leads a mission, and you're basically a backup captain to him, and
That's cool.
probably more Voyager cast members have been on Star Trek Online than from any other show.
Oh, so you had Garrett Wong reprising his role.
Yeah, Garrett Wong. We had we got Janeway,
Yeah, I think I
Kate
remember that one.
Mulgrew.
Yeah.
We of course had Jerry Ryan. We had Tim Russ. I always say his name, Mike. Tom Paris. What is his name?
Wow. Robert
Robert
Duncan
Duncan
McNeil.
McNeil. I
Yeah.
always forget his name. But we had him. I mean, pretty much. And I want to say we got Michael. We got Robert Beltran too. I
Okay.
think.
Cool. Cool. Man, I am this close to making a video. So my girlfriend has been watching Murder, She Wrote, and we came across an episode that had LeVar Burton in it. And I did some research. Star Trek actors are all within Murder She Wrote. So I may do a
I
video
think
covering
Robert Beltran in an
Robert
episode.
Beltran. I think
I knew he was.
Robert Duncan McNeil is in the episode. Kate McGrew is in an episode. It's seven to
Really?
nine. I mean, Jerry Ryan is in an episode. A bunch of them are in Murder She.
Seriously.
Yes,
That
yes.
was way she must have been like 2021 when she did that.
Well, I think it said her appearance was 1995. So I think the show ran from 84 to 96 or
Because
something like
Jerry
that.
Ryan is the same age as me.
Oh, really?
She both 55. So she must have been in her early 20s when she got that role.
But yeah, it was interesting to see LeVar pop up. And also, what's the wow, I'm getting off topic here. What's the husband from Good Times? I forget his name. But he was
James.
James. Yeah, James.
James
Damn,
almost.
yeah, he was in there as well, the same episode. So getting off
That's
topic.
cool.
Getting off topic. We're gonna get back on track. Getting back to these comments, Marge says, "Lo, a Twovix army. Twovix army. Yes, a Twovix army." Cal is saying, only thing I didn't like about that was on the glob of people. Was the glob of people, but the combining of random characters, awesome. Yeah, the glob of people was a bit much, and we're not going to get scientific, techno babble on it. But the way they separate them didn't make much sense either to me. Marge is saying that have to agree that it was not that funny, although a Freeman mix was fun. And delete the wife joke was good. I don't remember that one. Who said delete the wife? I don't remember that one. Let me know who said that, Marge. That's pretty interesting. Johnny Fitzhugh saying, it's an absurdity. They proved Janeway did the right thing. They took the combining of people to the extreme and which revealed the morality of putting things back the way they were. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they went to the extreme to show that she kind of made the right decision in the end.
Oh, I just thought of something I liked.
What's that? Let's hear it. Let's hear
Because
it.
I'm watching, whenever I'm talking about these, I'm watching it here. The whole thing with the Romulan, like what's going to be an overarching story, it looks like this year, whether they do, we got both episodes. We'll talk about the other something. I love the thing with the Tal Shiar.
Yes, that was
That
cool.
was brilliant.
That was
It's
cool.
like man, and she's dragging the body back with the reed. And I said, "Oh my
boy.
god, this should not be funny, but it is.
Yeah,
It's so funny."
it at the Star Trek the animated celebration, they showed the Wedge Dooge episode, and that's one of my favorite episodes of Lower Decks, period, because we do get to see the other ships. We get to see some of the absurdity of these characters that are so killers, or the Klingons being so much rooted in their rituals, and you get to see some of the absurdity of that. It's pretty funny as well. So I like it whenever we go to another ship and see how they live or how their lower decks operates.
That's cool because I love the fact when we're coming across here and she goes and says, "It was probably you," and he says, "Sir, every day I pray for your demise, but I wouldn't even do that." It's like, yeah, of course. It's almost like the Tal Shiar, like the mirror universe.
Yeah.
Like they're always scheming to kill the person in front of them in advance.
Really? That's how all those other ships feel, man. That's how all the other races feel, like they're always trying to kill whoever's at the top. It's really, really quite weird.
They even do that in the book. Like if you read any of the books and stuff, there's one about the Star Trek, what happened to Picard before, when he first takes the thing to relocate the Romulans. In that book, which tied into Star Trek Picard. Dude, it's not far off from that joke. I mean, I'm not even kidding.
Wingraves mentions that there's a great amount of crossover between Cheers, Frasier, and Trek 2. I haven't watched a lot of Cheers or Frasier, so yeah, I have to dig into that one. That sounds interesting.
A lot. 2 of the best shows ever.
Oh wow, we have an advocate over here. So, Larry, let's wrap this episode up. Let's wrap up Twovix. What is your rating of this episode, sir?
I'm going to have to give this one a 4.
A 4. Wow, you were higher than me, and I thought you were down on the episode.
I was going 3.5, but that ending was just so like the little just that little tick kicked it up for me because the Tal Shiar are one of my favorite things in Star Trek.
Well, but you know that was the next episode, right?
Yeah.
The Klingons was this episode.
Oh, that's right. I jumped the episode. Okay, well then this gets a 3.5.
All right, a 3.5. That's why I'm going to wind up to a 3.5 for me too. I mean, Voyager is precious to me. It's my precious, and I didn't like seeing it kind of crapped on a bit. But be that as it may, we're going to wrap up this review. And if you are watching live, stay tuned because we're going to jump into the next one. But thank you guys for listening, and we will have the next episode in the feed, which will cover I Have No Bones, Yet I Must Flee. So stay tuned. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into our review of, wow, this is the long title. I Have No Bones, Yet I Must Flee. Okay. We're going to get into that, and I want to make sure I have the correct director here. Give me 1 second. All righty here. Oh, I have the next episode up too. In the Cradle of Vexilon. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Discussing Trek. We're going to get into our review of I Have No Bones, Yet I Must Flee, the second episode of season 4 of Star Trek Lower Decks. And with me here, I have Larry Irby. How you doing, man?
Doing great.
All right. We are not going to delay anything. We're going to get right into this review. And so if you haven't seen the episode, you should go out and watch it and come back and listen to or watch our review of I Have No Bones, Yet I Must Flee. We are back and we are ready to review this episode. So I'm going to go right to Larry and get his high level opinion of this episode. What do you think, Larry?
Loved it. Absolutely loved this episode. I'm telling it was back to the formula, which makes for those of us who love Lower Decks, makes it great. The whole thing, and just the whole absurdity of the little. I mean, Doctor Who. We'll get to that. I almost did one like that too. I was like, did they kind of borrow from Doctor Who on the move? You know the one I'm talking about, where the little creature's cute and it's great.
Oh, this was definitely a Pating, and no cow will enjoy this. This is a rip off of Pating, which I'm sure ripped off something else, but I think in the instance of the Pating on Doctor Who, it would eat all the metal, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a minute since I've seen the episode.
And this ate bones, so
yeah, it was fun. And Kyle is saying Pating in the chat, so yeah, it was the Pating. But yeah, to take something so cute and cuddly and you just want to hug it. All the little girls, hopefully little girls weren't watching this episode, but if they were, or little boys, maybe they would have saw the Pating, the Moopsie, and be like, oh, it's so cute. Even I said it's so cute. I mean, no Baby Yoda, but it was cute. I didn't read the log line for the episode, so let me go ahead and read it. Mariner tries to get demoted. Rutherford tries to get promoted. And Boimler, makes a big move. Written by Aaron Burdett and directed by Megan Lloyd. So that's the log lines. My high-level thoughts on this episode, I loved it a lot more than a premiere. And again, for me, I love it when Lower Decks kind of does his own thing. And to me, even though we kind of ripped on the whole cage experience, I feel like they really didn't reference the cage that much other than it being the setting for this story. So in that aspect, I really liked it. Larry, you got some good points. It may be ripping off the Doctor Who episode with Pating in it. So that's very astute. But otherwise, I think it was a pretty good episode. I even thought the stuff with Boimler, they get promoted. They get out of the bunks, wherever they are in the bottom of the ship, which I was like, oh man, I kind of had a little bit of sentimentality for that place where they were with the viewport. And, they get this awesome view and they're off to their own quarters, which was kind of sad, but also very funny because Boimler was getting, blinded by the Bassard collector. and he wasn't having it, so he was trying to find a place to stay the whole episode. So I thought that was pretty hilarious.
This hit for so good on me because all I can say on that one, Clarence, is Livick. That's just
Yeah.
number one. I love the actor. I always forget his name. Who
Uh,
voices Rutherford?
yeah.
You know, he's on
Eugene
Loki.
Cadero, I believe.
Eugene Cadero, who is just amazing. But I just love that every every time, and then he goes Rutherford.
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of interesting and cool to see Rutherford have his own kind of equal, I would say in this case, to every cool idea he had, he was one up by this guy. I thought it was pretty funny. And just kind of the aggrandizing of the engineering group when they see something cool done, they're all rallied around and cheering them on. Even the chief of Billups thought he was awesome too. So he named it after me, the Billups tubes or whatever. So
I still love Shax too. Talk about, hey, thanks for helping me move it. Like a senior officer would be helping you move in your quarters, but again, it's lower deck, so nobody
yeah,
can. No problem, baby bear.
yeah, Baby
He's
Bear and Papa Bear, they're kind of
he.
simpatico there, man. They're
Shax just warms my heart because number one, he's a Bajoran, he's a fighter, but he's also really sensitive.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, the episode that they showed at the Star Trek Day, No Small Parts, was the one when I think I think that was the one where he sacrifices himself for Rutherford.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. Again, like I have to admit, going back and watching some of these episodes in hindsight, they are really good stories, and I need to go back and see what I rated those at the time, because just seeing it in a theater with a bunch of people these people at this event like really love Lower Decks. I mean, they were hardcore.
I'm glad
So
you got to go because
yeah,
I bet there were a lot of people dressed up, right?
there were a few that were dressed up. There were a few that
You
were
know what you
dressed
should
up.
do when you add this, you should add in some footage, man. If you took any
Yeah, I
pictures.
really didn't take much, honestly, because that was my first time kind of going to an event like that. So I was trying
Mhm.
to suss it out, to be honest. But yeah, it was very interesting, man. These people like really love Lower Decks, and they had me chanting Lower Decks before it started. Like they do at the
Yeah,
end of
lower deck.
this first
Yeah.
premiere episode. Lower
Uh-huh.
Decks. Look, they had us doing that, so I was right there with them. I was part of the group,
See,
part of the
you
crowd, man.
yeah, you get into it. Like I said, man, I loved the whole thing with Billups. I love Boimler movie because that's your more your C story. It's just the fact that Brad just can't catch a break, even
He
when
can't.
something good
He can't,
happens.
man.
But
I,
don't you love it? Then Rutherford comes in. Oh, all righty, we'll just adjust this, and
so good.
that's all I needed.
Which Boimler kind of knows everything, so why wouldn't he
Why
know?
do you know that?
Yeah, but
But it's lower decks, man.
Marge mentions in the chat, and I found this one funny as well. The quarters between the holodecks reminded me of past bad apartments. Yeah, Tiana and Shax were up to a lot there.
Mark,
Um,
Mark, I am with you. I trust me, trust me. I have lived in my share of weird places, and I have heard things about people that I did not want to hear, things that I did not want to know.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
well, that's why I've always hated your mother. Oh my God. I need
yeah,
a place with thicker walls.
and just the absurdity of putting quarters between two holodecks.
Oh,
Really?
somebody wrote online, seriously. I didn't like that part. I mean, you would know that a holodeck would be soundproof. It's like, oh my God, it's lower decks. It's lower decks, dude. Please do not apply logic to this.
Yeah. I get that. I mean, we know Cork had a reason to put soundproofing around his holodecks because he has patrons at his establishment, but maybe not so much on the Cerritos. We don't know.
Right.
Oh boy, Win Grace is saying that. I was surprised he didn't yell, "I am not a married man" in the holodeck. Oh yeah, who was it that did? Was it they did
Was it
the
Wharf?
the, the TNG kind of Robin Hood thing in the holodeck? That's what they were dressed like when they went in there, right?
Yeah, it was Wharf.
What was the yeah?
It was
Yeah, I know
Wharf.
Worf is the one that said that, but But in the lower decks episode, Tiana and Shax dressed like those characters when they went on holiday.
Yeah, well, I know she was Robin Hood, and she had
Mm.
some red tights for him. So maybe he was, Will Scarlet or Little John. Who knows?
Oh boy. So uh, Mariner is she kind of she's kind of lamenting the promotion. Of course, Mariner would, and she is like, I want to go back to being an ensign. So she thinks that by I don't know why she had to go double down on this because she does this anyway, but she is like doubling down on defying orders and being herself. Shows up to her mission with the new ensign in her workout gear, and she's off, and she's almost kills them when they go over to the station to investigate this menagerie. So this was kind of peak Mariner in this episode. I'm hoping we start to pivot that a little bit because they definitely go back and forth from crazy I don't give a crap Mariner to trying to do somewhat right Mariner. They
They
keep waffling.
did. I love the growth with Mariner and somebody else. I think it was Sean from Trek Culture that said
Mm,
this. Normally, she would have just did what she did, but she, honest to God, listened to Ransom when he told her that's not why I did what she did.
yeah.
Normally, she would just go, "Oh yeah, right, I don't care." But she actually listened to him and went, "Oh, okay, I didn't know." And he says, "Because people have never supported you, that's why."
Mm,
And that was growth in both characters.
yeah.
It's a comedy, but it's not going to be great if we keep rehashing the
Yeah.
same stuff.
Yeah.
So I really did enjoy that.
Yeah, I agree with you. We've definitely seen a lot of growth as far as the way those two communicate because we've kind of been seeing them getting paired up since the very first season. So it's kind of interesting to see their relationship thrive a little bit. So I'm loving that. And you know, uh, Ramson putting a little confidence into her. Giving her a little more confidence. So I thought that was great. Marge has a question in the chat, and I don't know the answer to this. I'm gonna assume late 20s, maybe early 30s. Do we know how old ensign, or excuse me, Lieutenant Junior Grade Mariner is?
I would say Beckett is probably she's older than Boimler and Tindy by I would
Yeah.
say a bit because she says she's been promoted and demoted. So you're about 22, 23 when you get out of the academy. And if she's been on all the ships she says she's been on,
Yeah.
and she knows Riker, she knows all those people, I'd probably say she's definitely 30.
Yeah. I would agree. I would agree. She seemed like she's been around a while, and as you said, Larry, she knows pretty much everybody we run into. So yeah, she has to be in her
She knows
30s.
Quark, she knows Riker. I mean, it's like who doesn't she know?
Yeah. Let's get into Moopsy just a little bit more. Of course, we're doing a riff on the cage here. We have these humans that the lower deckers are coming to free from this menagerie. And it's kind of weird. The guy says that they're members of the Federation and following all the rules. Okay, tree guy, we'll take your word for it. But we find out the humans are the most dangerous game. The humans are the one that are letting Moopsy loose. We pretty much said that we like Moopsy as a character. We think it was pretty funny. Any other thoughts on Moopsy in this whole scenario? Did you like them riffing on this one very cute and cuddly but crazy character on this station here?
I loved it. I think you always are going to come to that. I think when you have something, because you're turning it on its ear. And honestly, they are really borrowing from because one of the first shows to do that was a TOS with
Yeah,
Trouble with Tribbles. These little cute things that could cause havoc
yeah,
because they bred so fast. We know why now, short treks. but it's always cool when you have this cute little character. But I know it's lower decks. So the
yeah.
moment I saw it, I went, "Oh, something's gonna happen." Because somebody told me it was in the preview, but I don't
Mm,
remember seeing it. And when he goes in there with the lids and just start, I was like,
yeah. That's pretty intense, man.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Moopsie. I believe this is going to be one of those things we're going to keep coming to. Maybe not actually seeing, but I think it's going to stick in a lot of people's heads. When you talk about Lower Decks creating something that's going to stick around, I think, Moopsie is fun, man. And even though violent and scary at the same time, but cute and cuddly. So I'm a Moopsie fan. Put me on the fan column for Moopsie. And I like the story, and I like them running around trying to avoid Moopsie. And, you know, even with the humans playing a little bit of the part of letting Moopsie out and trying to take over the station, as they say.
Well, I like the fact they lived up that humans are one of the worst species in the galaxy.
Yeah, yeah. Good. Yeah, those are kind of deep in a way, but
I
yeah,
love the ensign too, and I love the fact that he got to live.
he did. Yeah,
That and hopefully maybe he, now that they're all promoted, he will be their tag along when they go do stuff.
yeah. I'm trying to remember because there was an episode where Ransom introduces a cadet to Boimler. I'm wondering if it's the same character. I need to go back and watch it because I think that episode was actually on Star Trek, the animated celebration. I don't know if it's the same character though, but it would be kind of cool if it was. But yeah, we got new ensigns running around here, so it's good fun. Good fun.
Oh, I like what somebody just put here: Moopsie versus Peanut Hamper. That
Ooh,
was.
that's Win Grace, man.
I'm not. Yeah,
Are you,
I'm not even cool with Peanut Hamper. That Peanut Hamper made me mad for real.
she got out of Dodge when stuff got
I was.
kind of.
We need to smoke Peanut Hamper.
But again, talk about originality. I think the Peanut Hamper episode has to do with nothing else, but I feel like it was great.
It was. Oh God,
and,
yeah.
and I had the freedom to laugh and enjoy it more because it's really not connecting to anything. They're just doing something funny with this character that, kind of left out of there when things got hot. So I enjoyed that episode so much. But picking up a few more comments, Zufalo is there. Hello, Zufalo. Nice to have you in the chat. I want to see Moopsie's You made me say it. You made me say it. No, we don't want to see that. We don't want to see that. Mars says, is Moopsie an enemy-inspired character? Maybe. I don't know. I can see the cute and cuddly side of that being anime-inspired. Even some of the views when they're actually running from Moopsie kind of looks anime-esque. So, yeah, I can kind of see that a little bit. Moopsie and okay, we got a Badgie reference here. Moopsie and Badgie will hang out. Badgie. I think there's a leak that there's going to be another Badgie episode coming up this
There's
season.
got to be. Badgie
Yeah.
was too good.
Yeah. It's funny how they got these staples, Badgie, Moopsie, and Peanut Hamper that are kind of sticking in our head there.
I just love what was the I'm trying to think of this episode had so much, like I said. I just love it.
Let's pick up a comment from Marge real quick here, saying that I am impressed with Jack Ransom in these two episodes. He is attentive and has people skills. Yeah, he's been really, really cool in these two episodes. So yeah, I want to see the senior officer shine. I love seeing them when they're doing really awesome stuff. So yeah, he was great. He was great in this episode. Any thoughts before we give ratings and kind of wrap this part of the review up?
I didn't think we saw a lot of Freeman though in either one of these episodes.
No, yeah, it is kind of strange. Not a lot of Don Lewis in these two episodes.
So
maybe
I have my hope that one day we'll see a full live action Lower Decks episode.
Yeah, it should happen. This is another video idea I have of like comparing all the Lower Decks characters to their real life voice actors. And I think pretty much all of them can probably pull it off except Tatasori. I can't remember his first name and I'm probably saying his name wrong, but the Shaq's voice actor.
Yeah.
He's older.
Yeah, they would have to get somebody taller. And well, if you look at Rutherford towers over everybody else, and Eugene Cordera is short,
But he looks like Rutherford though.
He does look a little bit like Rutherford though.
Yeah.
What did you wait a minute? I want to ask you before we go because I'm still watching it here on the thing. What did you think about the humans that were in the menagerie? Their little jumpsuits.
Now, what were the jumpsuits a reference to? I missed that
I,
reference.
I've somebody's got to put it in there, but somebody brought it up because I said it looks like some TNG
Mm,
jumpsuits,
yeah. Yeah. I
little
can see that.
little jumpers. Like, what are we gonna come up with? Put them in jumpers.
But we did get the Diana Troy Dr. Crusher leotards from Shax and Ransom at the beginning of the episode.
That was that was as uncomfortable as the original was. You know
uh,
that Gates and Marina have said that. Yeah, that was not
mm.
not fun for them.
Oh man, that sucks. That sucks. But very memorable. So there's that. Few comments here. When Grace is saying here, do you think the alien ship is killing the beings on the ships it destroys or collecting them? Okay, that's a good segue for us. Larry, let's get into this mysterious ending of episode one where the Klingons are met with this mysterious ship is
Hmm.
destroyed, and then the Romulans have the suffer the same fate in the beginning of the second episode. I love that bit of continuity there. Is this the big bad for the season? Who is it? Do you have any clue? What's going on with this ship? And as Wingray says, are they killing them or collecting them?
I also want to throw something out that was in a review. As I said, that Romulan ship, the design we saw, was the original design that was made for the next generation.
Mm,
And instead of going the long way with it, they decided to go the horizontal way. But
mm.
that's a little trip. But that was the original design that was first pitched for the next generation for the Romulan.
Wow, that's a deep cut right there.
Yep,
Huh. Yeah, I can see the why they went with the horizontal as opposed to the
it's just
vertical.
well, you know what? I can't say because we're used to the. We've seen the other one for 35 years.
Yeah,
You know, so but yeah, I am too.
yeah. Any other additional thoughts on these scenes? Are the souls getting collected, or are they simply destroying the ships? Let me just say this before I throw it to you. It looks like this ship could be from the future to me. It seems highly technically advanced. It kind of remind me of the futures end time ship a little bit, but I don't know if they're going to go that route. But any thoughts on this ship and what it may be doing?
I don't know, but it's definitely going to be something that I think is going to be a theme of the season. Um, like I said, I love when you get to see the lower deckers or whoever on the other ships and what their life is like. But I don't know, but I liked it. I like the
Yeah, me
fact
too.
that they're doing a little uh thing that's going to go on in each
Yeah,
episode.
a
You
little
know,
continuity between episodes, and
yeah.
it seems very original from so far. So I think it's really cool. It looks like the unanimous thought in the chat is that they are collect. They think everybody thinks they're getting collected. I have no idea who's on that ship, but I'm sure it'll be revealed here pretty soon. But yeah, really cool design, really cool kind of futuristic ship.
Yeah, I just gotta say, I just love when you have a great C story, B story, or
Uh,
C story. This was more like a C story
yeah.
with Brad sleeping in the Jeffries tube,
Oh man,
made his new quarters. That I mean, that's good stuff, man.
yeah.
That's such good lower deck. He's like, yeah, I'm crawling through here because I'm trying to go do blah blah blah. He said, oh really? There was another incident was just came through here.
And how he has to take his action figures and his little Tom Paris plate wherever he goes.
Oh yeah, you gotta have that.
Let me say this: I used to get kind of weirded out by all the references, but it makes so much sense now. I've seen the light. It makes sense for Brad Boimler to have a Jonathan Archer founding person to
Of
help find the
course.
Federation doll in his room.
Why wouldn't he? I mean, think of it, man. I mean, it's like I love the fact that in Lower Decks when we had the crossover, or excuse me, in Strange New Worlds, the crossover, when uh, you know, Ortegas brings up Travis Mayweather. Oh,
Yes.
my heart will. And then Uhura brings up Hoshi Sato, and I was just
Yeah.
like, and it's like, do we sound like them? Yeah, we
You
do.
do.
Because
You
you
do.
would love to meet your heroes in this thing. They're farther in the future. I don't know how far they are past Picard or
Mhm.
whatever, but just think all this stuff is heroic for them.
Yeah, and even like if you go to Trials and Tribulations, where Cisco and crew are going back and they're like gushing over, those old scientists as well. So, yeah, all good stuff. All good stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, when Grace says that the ship kind of looked like a face on it, I didn't really see that, but I did think it was a cool ship. I need to go back and look at it again. Maybe there was something else going on with the
It
design.
was it was very weird, but like I said, I'm all in on that, and I thought this episode was Lower Decks.
Yeah. So Brad and the Jeffries tubes was hilarious, says Marge. And Wingray says, "I love the grapplers." The grapplers. What are? Am I missing something here? What were the grapplers in the episode? Do you remember that?
I think he's quoting the one from Strange New Worlds,
Oh,
where she
got
said
you, got
nobody
you,
cares about the grapplers.
got you, got
Long
you,
as she
got you,
says,
got
"I love the grapplers," he said, "See."
you. Oh boy. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and kind of wrap this thing up. This one, I want to kind of ask myself the question of each of these lower decks episodes. Did I laugh? Did I laugh? Did I think it was funny? Yes, I laughed. I think Moopsy was hilarious. My most favorite point of the season so far is the Bizarre Collectors and Boimler. I was like, oh, that's terrible, but also funny. So yeah, I did laugh in this episode. So I think I'm a happy camper whenever I do that. Larry, how would you rate this episode, sir?
I am going to give it a 4.5.
Ooh, man, you going up there. You don't make me sound bad when I don't
Oh yeah,
go.
because like I said, that when Lower Decks is being Lower Decks, it's awesome.
And actually, with that, I'm going to raise my uh, review just a little bit. I was going to go to 4.2, but I've caught the bug. I'm gonna give it a 4.4 after we talked about it. I think this is one of the better Lower Decks episodes. Not really a heavy plot, but what was in there was interesting, and I got a lot of good references and laughs out of it. So
But that's
good
all that
deal,
matters.
good deal, good deal. Everybody in the chat, how would you rate this episode out of 5? Please let us know by putting it in the chat. We'd appreciate it. And also, if you have thoughts and comments about what we do or any episode or anything about Star Trek, you can hit us up at feedback@discussingtrek.com or at Discussing Trek on any and all social medias. If you're listening, please go ahead and like so you can catch us when we go live. You'll get a notification if you go ahead and like and subscribe. So we really appreciate that. Larry, once again, thank you for joining us, sir. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate it. It's been fun.
It's my pleasure.
And I'm gonna have to agree with Marge. A good start to the season. And she's giving it a 4 as well. So we're going to end right there, guys. Thank you for joining us. It's been a lot of fun. And until next time, guys, live long and prosper.